Hello, Dr. Torsunov. I have a question about my marriage. I'm trying to apply what you and other relationship speakers teach, but I feel stuck. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or if I'm just growing too slowly.
So what's the actual issue?
I feel like I don't have clarity or a sense of fulfillment. I keep wondering, am I doing the right thing?
No, right now you're giving me philosophy. What I need is a problem. Like, is your husband hitting you, drinking, cheating? That's what I call a problem. What you're saying is philosophy. I don't need philosophy.
I'm just describing how I feel.
No, I don't need that. Speak clearly about the problem. So what's the problem? You don't love each other? What exactly?
We can't seem to agree on anything.
Okay, the solution is very simple. There are two energies at play, the energy of love and the energy of knowledge. And in love, knowledge doesn't work. In other words, if you're in a family, you're never going to agree with each other. You can make agreements with friends, but with your spouse, no way. The only thing that works is care. You take care of the person, create a sense of gratitude in them, and then they'll want to come toward you on their own. Love is a movement toward each other. And that movement never ends. But you have a very strong knowledge energy in your mind. You're an intellectual type. It's hard for you to grasp how love flows. You keep trying to turn on the other person's brain, but when two people get married, logic shuts off and feelings take over. My wife used to listen to my lectures before we got married, but once we got married almost 20 years ago, she told me, "Let your listeners listen to your lectures. I'm your wife." And then she'd even tell me which lecture I should listen to, especially the ones where I talk about how a man should behave with a woman. But you know what? That system just doesn't work. And it never will. Because love runs on the energy of love, not knowledge. These two energies compete. They're opposites. Why do couples argue? It's because the energy of knowledge is too strong. They try to prove things to each other, but you can't win like that. Your spouse won't listen to you. They'll only act out of gratitude. The first step is to accept your spouse as they are and care for them. If they start acting arrogant, take some distance. If they behave kindly, come closer. Love has two banks, closeness and separation, but most people don't get that. They think every issue needs to be solved by talking it out, banging on the door of the other person's brain, but that doesn't work. The brain shuts down. Who here has ever managed to seriously explain something to their spouse? Raise your hand. Look around, no hands. It never works. Oh, you managed? And you're sitting right next to each other, huh? Yeah, okay. Tell me another fairy tale. He's just a wise man. He lets you win. It's not because you explained it well. If he didn't want to listen, he wouldn't. It's his choice. So really, you're just torturing him and he's suffering. But again, that's his choice. Not your victory. My wife can explain things to me too. That doesn't mean I want to listen. I just make myself do it. Got it? No? That's why we need a whole lecture just for this. You'll start to understand if you keep learning through these lectures. Because it's a really complex topic. A person needs to learn how to care, to help, to be patient, and to accept the other person. It sparks gratitude, and through gratitude, understanding comes. Knowledge comes after in a relationship. Right now, I don't see any gratitude between the two of you. You're just tolerating each other. You haven't reached gratitude through care. You haven't fully accepted each other yet. My wife sometimes says to me, "Sorry, I think I said that a little harshly." And I'll say, "No, you can speak however you want. Even if it didn't feel great, I let it go." She's asking for forgiveness. And I say, "No, really, it's okay. Say what you need to say. You're the one I love." Then she softens and starts speaking more gently. Do you get it, my dears? Still a bit hard to grasp, right? It's a difficult subject. We're going to spend the whole lecture on this today.
Good evening. I wanted to ask something about parent-child relationships.
You don't need to go on. I can tell that in your past life, you were very strict and harsh in raising your children, and now you've ended up with a difficult connection with your mother. Sometimes when people are around each other, the good energies shut down and the bad ones turn on. That's what we call bad compatibility. It comes from bad fate. With your mother, you have bad compatibility. It's hard for you to be around her. Maybe she's very strict, very rigid, and unwilling to listen. It's hard for you, even though deep down you love her. Is that what you were going to say?
Yes. I feel this intense anger toward her. Even when she's silent, that emotion just rises up. It's very strong.
That's the effect of bad fate.
So how can I change my fate?
It's like someone in prison asking me, Dr. Torsunov, I'm behind bars. How can I change this? Well, you either serve your time or you overcome it through prayer. There's karma and there's mercy. Karma means suffering. Mercy means turning to God, serving, and loving Him. That's it. There are two paths, the path of karma or the path of mercy. Or you can just keep forgiving your mom, endure it, and carry on, and understand it's this way simply because it is this way. Some people even ask, Dr. Torsunov, I still don't believe I'm in prison. But believing or not doesn't change anything. The first step is to accept your fate. Understand that your compatibility with your mother is poor. It's your fate from past lives that's playing out. And look, you didn't even tell me anything, just opened your mouth and I said it all. That means it's very clear, easy to see. And the fact that I could see it definitely means you have bad fate.
But is there any way to soften the relationship?
Through acceptance, kindness, and compassion, yes, but it will be a very slow process. You've only worked through about 30% of this fate in your lifetime so far, which means that in your next life you'll be facing a similar situation, maybe slightly easier but still tough. You really made a mess of things in the past. If you pray, you'll be able to work through this more quickly. Hello, my dears. Everyone's got something that's not quite right. Yes, your question.
Hello, Dr. Torsunov. We're very grateful that we can listen to you online and participate in your retreats. Thank you from our whole family. You've helped us so much. I want to ask about something specific. My husband and I have been together for 13 years, and I feel like a martyr. He says I'm turning his life into hell because we struggle so much with everyday things. For example, if there's noise in the house, it irritates him. I also get headaches from certain outdoor noises.
So he gets irritated by any kind of noise?
Yes. And I also have trouble breathing around certain household materials, like wallpaper or construction smells, or when the road outside is loud.
So if you make noise, it bothers him? Then you just need to stay quiet at home and everything will be fine.
No, it's the noise from outside, like from the street.
My wife's the same way. Can you imagine? She needs absolute silence. God forbid there's any sound from outside.
And there are other things too. We're just so different when it comes to daily life. And now it's gotten to the point where he says we should just separate, get divorced. He says I'm turning his life into hell. So how can I save this marriage?
Want me to be honest? You think this is a relationship problem, don't you? And this, my dear friends, is a very important and fundamental point. People often think that what's happening to them is just a relationship problem. This isn't a relationship problem, it's an issue with how your subtle energy body is functioning. Both of you have a very depleted fifth energy layer of the subtle body. That layer governs deep perception of the world and your ability to truly be with someone. You're both highly sensitive people. It's genuinely hard for you to let anyone into your energetic space. To restore balance, you need to spend time in water, do static exercises, practice prolonged continuous movement, and fasting. That's how you replenish your subtle energy body. Yesterday, for example, we did a light run and sat in water with those who came to the lecture. We did a full cleanse using water, and when they came to the lecture, I asked them, "So, did you finally understand what real calm feels like?" They had just sat in the water, whining, "It's cold, I can't take it." But then, during the lecture, they were so peaceful. I asked, "Do you get it now? What does calm really mean?" They said, "Yes." "Are any sounds bothering you?" "No, everything feels good now." If noise bothers you, that's a sign of depletion of the fifth energy layer. Now imagine living with someone who can't stand any noise. You want to open the window for fresh air, but outside it's noisy, and suddenly the person reacts, "I can't stand it. I'm dying here." What is that? That's extreme sensitivity in the hearing centers. And where does that come from? From a deeply exhausted fifth energy layer, which affects the nerves and sensory organs. If the fifth layer is depleted, for example, in terms of water energy, meaning there is an extreme shortage of water energy in both spouses, this leads to hypersensitivity, emotional vulnerability, and being easily hurt. When people feel that drained, they often turn to alcohol to cope. But you don't drink, right? You live a healthy lifestyle, which means all that's left is to get anxious and become intolerant of each other. When a person lacks water energy, they also can't fall asleep on time. Do you fall asleep early? No. If you're not in bed by 10 p.m., you'll wake up late. Say you wake up at 7 or 8 a.m. By that time, water energy is already evaporating, so you end up in a vicious cycle of depletion. When people don't go to bed on time, their air energy starts to drop. And when there's a lack of water energy, they start craving sweets at night. That's also a sign the energy of the sun is fading when a person craves sweets before going to bed. And so on. Basically, your family is experiencing a total breakdown of mental health. There's very little energy left. You're both energetically drained, which is why your nervous systems are on edge. And now, in this state of total overload, you're trying to fix your relationship. That's like peeling someone's skin off and then expecting them to live comfortably. Just the slightest touch causes pain. You're both like living without skin. Your nerves are raw because you don't have a healthy lifestyle. You don't know how to live right. That's the real issue. If you change your daily habits, everything will fall into place. You'll have a great relationship. You both have certain personality traits, but right now you're hypersensitive to them. Every couple deals with these kinds of differences. It's hard for everyone to live together. I'll explain later in the lecture why that is.
When does the uplifting phase begin? How long do we need to endure? Right now, it feels like we're in a crisis.
You're not hearing me. You're not in a bad phase right now. The tough period was 3 years ago. That's when you could have split up. Somehow you made it through. But about 3 years ago, your energy levels began collapsing. You were able to survive the mental strain by burning through your reserves, but you never learned how to replenish them. What you're dealing with now isn't a bad period. You're just out of energy. And I'll say this 50 times if I have to, until you finally get it. You are out of energy. You both have a serious water energy deficiency. Yours is at 17% and his is at 18%. People with this level of depletion often turn to alcohol. This level of deficiency makes life unbearable. Even if you lived apart, you'd still suffer. The lack of water energy affects your personal life. No matter who you live with, you'll keep struggling because you simply don't have the energy needed for a happy relationship. It's like this. Imagine someone hits their head and forgets that they need to eat. They go to a psychologist and say, "We have constant conflict. There's so much anger between us. We're losing weight. Our hands are shaking. We can't function. And I just want to tear my partner apart from rage." And the psychologist says, "You should wish happiness to each other, treat each other kindly, and rejoice in each other. But what they really need is food. Once you eat, you become kind." One time I saw a real tiger in a park lying there while people were taking photos with it. I asked them, "Did you sedate it or something? It seems so sweet." They said, "No, we just feed it well. When it's fed, it's gentle. It got used to being with people. It doesn't see them as a threat. It's used to us and we keep it well fed. But if it weren't fed, just imagine what would happen to someone who sat next to it." You don't have enough energy, so you're tearing each other apart because you're depleted on a deep psychological level. There's no point in going to therapy and saying that you are not compatible. Okay? You're a match and then you're not.
I feel like we're actually a good match.
All right, my dears, thank you. But honestly, you didn't really get it. Because this knowledge has to be learned. You have to study it. It's not simple. I approach everything systematically. A person has 3 bodies: a spiritual body, a subtle energy body, and a physical body. There are spiritual relationships, social relationships, and psychophysical relationships. Say, when people get offended, would you call that a psychological problem or an energy problem? An energy problem. Extreme sensitivity, being emotionally fragile, what is that? Energy problem or psychological? Energy problem. Okay, how about anger? People getting mad at each other, energy or psychological problem? Energy. No motivation, always blaming others. Energy or psychological problem? Still energy. Coldness in a relationship, lack of connection. People say they don't love each other anymore. Is that a psychological issue or an energy one? An energy one, that's a lack of air energy. It creates emotional distance. Constant negativity, complaints, energy or psychological problem? Energy again. Lack of the energy of the sun. Sensitivity, irritability, moodiness, touchiness, that's all from lack of water energy. And yet with all of these energy issues, people go to psychologists. And what do psychologists do? They start talking. It's like this. I have no skin on my hand. I go to a psychologist and say, "Every time I touch something, I feel this sharp pain. What should I do?" And they reply, "You have the wrong mindset about life." What does life have to do with it? What I need is something to cover the wound. Does what I'm saying make sense to you or not? So what is a psychological problem? Let's say you've gone through some stress and now you live in constant despair. That's a psychological issue. Or you're living in fear. Maybe there are rockets flying overhead and you're just terrified. That's psychological too. Or maybe someone you trusted betrayed you, and now you don't trust men anymore. That's a psychological issue. Or maybe you simply don't understand that a woman should respect a man. That's psychological. Same if a man doesn't understand he should respect a woman. These are all psychological problems. And yes, we'll work on those too. But then there are energy problems. And there are also misunderstandings around how the energy of love actually works. That's a philosophical problem, not even psychological or energetic. Psychologists won't help with that because it's too deep. Truly understanding how love energy flows is very complex. You need to understand how the ego functions in love. Because in love, it's not intelligence that operates, it's energy and ego. And for love to flow properly, the ego shouldn't be either inflated or humiliated. If someone's putting you down, step back. And if you're getting too proud of yourself, love won't flow then either. Love constantly throws the ego off balance. You fall in love, and the person loves you back. You think, I'm amazing. When they don't show love, you think, I must be terrible. When the ego loses its balance, the energy of love can't move freely. For love energy to flow properly, you have to step out of the knowledge zone. Let's say you go to work, that's the knowledge zone. There, you're expected to follow the rules. Show up on time, leave on time, complete your task properly. That's the knowledge zone. Now imagine you go to a spa. Is that still a knowledge zone? No, that's a love zone. So we walked into a spa today, and the first thing I heard was, take off your shoes, put on slippers. I was thinking, really? We came here to relax. Then I went into the sauna and someone yelled, do you have a towel? This is supposed to be a place of love. People should be kind and welcoming. One time I went to a spa in New York, and I paid less than in Russia. I walked in, and people were welcoming. Would you like this? How about that? We're so happy to see you. And I thought, now this is how it should be. Then I came here, and it's just a disaster. We're lying in the sauna, and every 5 minutes there's an announcement. If you notice any suspicious individuals. I mean, seriously, this is supposed to be a spa. I told the security guard, honestly, the most suspicious people here are the staff. I actually said that to his face. A spa is a place of love. You don't interrogate people. You don't impose strict rules. People come to relax. It should be soft, gentle, welcoming, with a smile. Not constant announcements every 5 minutes. If you see a suspicious object. What am I supposed to notice in a steam room? Imagine sitting on a toilet and once again hearing, if you notice a suspicious object. What do you think is going to fall out besides something from me? So what, am I supposed to call security now? All right, we've had our laugh. Now listen, there's a zone of knowledge. You go to work, right? There are rules. You follow them. That's the knowledge zone. You shouldn't say there, no one here loves me. Just do your job and people will respect you. In the knowledge zone, you're not supposed to form close emotional bonds with your subordinates. A guy once came to a lecture and said, I can't get along with my subordinates. I asked, are you trying to be friends with them? He said, yeah. I told him, well, there's your problem. They don't see you as a leader anymore. They see you as some kind of daddy figure who owes them everything. See, in the knowledge zone, relationships are professional, a bit of distance but with kindness. Then there's the love zone, where knowledge doesn't work. You don't need rules or instructions in a spa. That's a love zone. You're supposed to walk around relaxed and happy. People should be smiling, cheerful, glowing with joy. You get it? In the love zone, you speak gently, kindly, not like, these are the rules. You're not following them. What rules? The person's relaxed. They're in a love space. Imagine a little baby sucking on the breast, crying, and you say, follow the rules. What rules? They'll throw a tantrum and cry themselves sick if you treat them like that. They are in the love zone with their beloved mom. They're all cooing and giggling. That's the energy of love. You say, oh, sweetheart, come here. That's the love zone. You know how to behave with kids, but with your husband, you're stern. And then you say, love is gone. So the key is knowing where the energy of love is supposed to work and where the energy of knowledge is supposed to work. We need to figure this out again. What is social strength? What is spiritual strength? And what is psychophysical strength? And if everything irritates us, what's missing? Psychophysical strength. So what do relationships have to do with it? What does compatibility even mean here? If two people are starving, will they be compatible? They're both hungry. Do you think they'll get along? No, they'll get irritated, angry at each other. They might try to explain it, or maybe not, but once they've eaten, once they're full, suddenly they are compatible. Right? Why? Because they're full. Same goes for energy. When a person is full of energy, they're calm, When someone is filled with water energy, they become very peaceful. They take everything in stride. So how do you fill up with water energy? Well, you can come tomorrow at 8 a.m. to the park. That's right, Dr. Torsunov invites you to join him just once in your life. Go for a jog and sit in the water together. Why do this? Because the strongest force in life is inspiration, and you can't just find inspiration anywhere. You find it only when you start doing something, and when you witness someone else doing it, when you become part of that, it sparks a desire in you to live the same way. When you begin living the right way, everything in your life changes. 80% of problems in modern life, including in relationships, come from a lack of energy. And remember, that applies to all of you. I could literally break it down for each person what you're missing. But instead, you think you're with the wrong person. That's not it. You just have the wrong concept of life. A person should live close to nature. They should draw energy from nature. And after you hit 30, you really need to start perform healing practices, because before that, energy enters you naturally, as long as your mindset is right. After you hit 30, even if your mindset is right, energy doesn't come in by itself anymore. Energy enters the body when you're out under the open sky. And most of us are rarely outside these days. That's why people are so depleted. And that depletion causes all sorts of problems. Health issues, career setbacks, relationship drama, all of that requires energy. No energy means no life. There are 3 types of energy that flow through our subtle energy body: water, air, and sun. So how do we recharge them? I've got a manual over 100 pages long. 3 hours of lecture is worth about 40 pages from that guide. Water energy enters the body through standing in water and doing static poses. Air energy comes through prolonged, continuous movement. Sun energy enters through fasting. If a person doesn't practice any of this, at first they develop an energy deficiency, then come energetic blockages, and that leads to complete exhaustion, because the physical body depends on the energy from the subtle body. When energy runs low, certain organs begin to weaken, first energetically, then physically. Eventually that turns into chronic illness because there's just not enough energy. No energy, no life. But when energy starts getting restored, the whole body begins to heal. Even from chronic conditions, life gets longer, and the quality of life improves. Quality of life means it actually feels good to be alive.
What about a bath?
Yeah, you can soak in a tub, but the more natural energy involved, the better. Today's spa was decent, they got some things right, but they don't really understand the deeper practice, the culture behind it. We stepped into an outdoor pool with amazing water, really high quality. It was only 11 degrees Celsius, perfect for recovery. To recharge all 5 energy layers of the subtle body, you need to stand there for around 12 to 13 minutes. I've got the exact timing in my chart. We stood in the water, then lay in the steam room for 30 minutes to cleanse 5 energy layers, then back into the cold water. After that, I fully recovered from the trip. You probably won't be able to handle 11-degree water right away. Your system is too weak. When I first started this, I tried getting into ice-cold water and instantly got muscle cramps. That meant my water energy was completely depleted. My subtle energy channels couldn't even absorb cold water. Now I step into the ice hole like I'm walking into my own home. This winter in Samara, it was 26 degrees Celsius below zero. We went running in that weather. Then I jumped into a hole cut in the Volga River. Some of my students joined too. We stayed in for about 4.5 minutes. It was warmer in the water than in the air. The river was around 2 to 4 degrees Celsius, while the air was 26 degrees below zero. I got out and walked back to the cabin to change. My whole body was frozen stiff, but then it warmed up. It felt like I was born again, pure happiness inside. My subtle energy body was able to absorb all that energy. Extreme cold like that is pure prana, pure air energy. Snow is also pure air energy. If you lie in the snow for about 7 minutes, your body gets filled with very pure prana. But you have to know how to handle that kind of energy. If you sit in ice-cold water for 4.5 minutes, you absorb pure water energy. If you stand under the open sun in the morning, it takes 20 minutes to cleanse 1 energy layer. So a little under 2 hours fills the entire subtle energy body with the energy of the sun. But ideally, you should start with water, then sun, then back to water, because sun energy is the most aggressive of the 3 energies. If you want to dive deeper into this, we're launching Dr. Torsunov's school in about 6 months. Courses will begin on how to live the right way. I'll be explaining how energy works, what you personally need to do, and how to start. But for now, there's already a manual you can read. It gives general starting guidance for everyone. And if you have serious health issues, you can sign up for a personal consultation, either with me or with one of my assistants. You can get a consultation, and someone will guide you for a month or two, step by step. It's not like they'll immediately tell you, run 17 kilometers and jump into ice-cold water. You'll start with 28-degree water, sitting in a comfortable environment. You'll begin by walking. Start with 48 minutes, then gradually increase. Everything is gentle at first. The intensity builds up, step by step. I started running when I was 50. My first run was just 500 meters, and it felt incredibly hard. I thought, if I can run 5 kilometers one day, that'll be amazing. It took me 2.5 years to build up to 17 kilometers and cleanse all 5 energy layers with air energy. Then I started running on a schedule. Everything hurt, joints, spine, everything. But that's how the body heals. Now nothing hurts. I go for a run, and everything works perfectly. I feel healthy. Who was at my lecture 5 years ago? I've changed a lot, haven't I? Not bad, right, for 60 years old? I mean, sure, I'm aging, but not as fast as you are. The key is to learn how to live right. Then everything works out. At this age, it turns out you still have a lot of energy. You just need to spend more time on recovery. Overall, it's still possible to stay active at this age. 60 years old is a perfectly normal age to be working and traveling. I've actually circled the globe twice. And this coming March and April, I'm going on another world tour. First, I'll give lectures in Europe, then in America, then I'll be at a festival in Hawaii. After that, I'll head to Japan for a bit, then tour the Far East, and finally I'll return to Sochi. How does that sound? That's how much I can do in just a month and a half. Why? Because of healing practices and the lifestyle I follow. That's what allows me to live this way.
Do modern devices drain a lot of energy?
Absolutely. And it's important to realize everything around us reflects something deeper in how it looks and even sounds. Even the word device sounds like vice, doesn't it? You wouldn't call a good thing vicious, right? So yes, they definitely have an impact, no doubt. 6 years ago, I suddenly started feeling strong pressure in one eye. I went to the doctor and they said, "You have glaucoma." I was shocked. I thought, why? I detox and take care of my body. How could this happen? So I started researching it. The doctor asked me, "What's your lifestyle like?" I said, "Well, I do headstands, run 17 kilometers, do ice baths, and fast regularly." He said, "None of that is good for glaucoma. It actually increases eye pressure. You shouldn't be in a steam room or stand on your head or run long distances." So I got a portable eye pressure monitor and started investigating on my own. In the steam room, my eye pressure was normal. While running, normal. Headstands, still normal. But as soon as I started working on the computer, my eye pressure spiked. There's your answer about devices being vices. The doctor prescribed me eye drops for life, but instead, I chose a different approach. I used seeds. If you look closely, there's a skin-colored patch near my temple. Under it, seeds. These seeds give energy to the eyes and neutralize the negative effects of screen time. That's what allows me to keep giving lectures. Because of knowledge, I've simply learned how to redistribute energy using seeds. But the fact remains, we have to adapt to all these unpleasant little things in modern life that slowly destroy our health, unfortunately.
What kind of seeds?
They're selected individually. We use a method that allows us to restore the mind and body through ear acupressure using seeds. We have around 2,000 types of seeds and choose a unique combination for each person. In my case, I'm using black grape seeds, yellow watermelon seeds, and seeds from the Amer cork tree. Also seeds from a tropical tree called Cunninghamia, white sesame seeds, flax seeds, and peppermint seeds. Not just any mint, only peppermint. And finally, dragon fruit seeds. These are what happened to work for me out of everything we tested. They help keep my eye pressure balanced. I can even fine-tune it by a point. Right now, my eye pressure is at 20. If I need to, I can make it 21, 22, or bring it down to 19 with the right combination of seeds. Does that answer your question?
Do you have like a whole pound of seeds behind your ear?
No, they're all tiny, tiny seeds.
Are they crushed?
No, they're whole. These seeds are naturally small. You guys are hilarious here. I'd actually say you're exceptional. All right. I'm really glad to see all of you. I'll throw in a few jokes here and there. It makes things more fun. And by the way, those of you joining me tomorrow for the run, the walk, or the crawl, don't forget your swimsuits. You never know, you might feel like getting in the water. You just might want to join me for a dip. Who here is already living by this method? Raise your hand. Good job. So how's life now? Has it changed? Yeah? Feels better, right?
Should pregnant women get in the water too?
Yes.
But what if I'm always freezing? Will I be okay in water like that?
That's actually a sign of water energy deficiency. That's called energetic decompensation. People can't even step into the water. They just start shaking all over. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You've already burned through your reserves. You're energetically depleted. Now look, if you're just shivering, that's still manageable. Water is the most merciful element. But if you get cramps or your fingers go white, then don't do it. If they're only a little pale, it's okay. I remember once in St. Petersburg, the water was about 20 degrees Celsius. A young man stepped in, and all his fingers immediately turned white. I said, "All right, you're done. Off you go." We went back and rubbed his hands warm. That's water energy decompensation. Or if you go in and your leg cramps up, that's your body telling you, "Not today." But if it's just some shivering, you're good. The main thing is to spray your nose and mouth with our oil blend first. It's got 8 types of oils that kill viruses, because when the body gets very cold, your immunity drops and metabolism slows. If there's even a hint of a virus in you, it'll start multiplying. That's what we call catching a cold. But if you spray your nose and mouth, no cold, no problems, because water is a delicate environment. It only brings health. After this kind of cold water bathing, you've got to warm up. Take a hot shower right after to bring your body temperature back up. Meanwhile, your subtle energy body will be filled with water energy, and you'll feel like you've been reborn. Most people don't know this stuff because who would think to stand in 20-degree water for 30 minutes? Usually people dip in for 5 minutes, swim around for 10, and that's it. That only cleanses 1 or 2 layers of the energy body. I was watching people in the Black Sea. They get in the water and cleanse just 1 or 2 layers, tops. That won't do much. Real issues are buried much deeper. Because we live the wrong way, we don't replenish our subtle energy body. So as we age, the deeper energy layers start to break down. And then we laugh at older people who, let's say, talk to the air, but really it's just a lack of energy. Alzheimer's disease, for example, that's often just energy deficiency. If you live the right way, none of those illnesses will show up.
By the way, I have a fear of water. Whenever I swim, I feel panic.
That's called water energy decompensation. Sometimes there's such a severe lack of air energy that a person doesn't even want to move. They just sit at home all day. Other times it's a deficiency in sun energy. Such people can't fast. They panic right away. And if it's water energy that's depleted, the moment they enter water, they panic. They just can't stand water. That means the body has become so weakened it can no longer absorb these energies. It's like when someone hasn't eaten for a long time. You can't just give them a full meal. They can't digest it. Even a little bit makes them feel sick. The same thing happens on an energetic level. This is what we call decompensation. And really, a lot of the issues we face in life stem from lack of energy. People often confuse low energy with personality traits. They say, "I'm just a sensitive person. I need a special kind of partner who can tolerate me." But in reality, it's just a lack of water energy, that's all. Just sit in water regularly, and you'll stop being overly sensitive. Everything will feel normal again.
Got it. So can I do this every day?
Sure, you can, but even once or twice a week is often enough. It depends on your mental state. There are 3 emotions that really wear you out. They drain energy. It's like when a car has some mechanical issue and suddenly burns through oil or gas way too quickly. You just filled the tank, and boom, it's empty again. You know what I mean, right? When you're constantly refueling? That's what happens to people too. When someone falls into despair after a stressful event, feeling deeply hurt, angry at the injustice of life, irritated by everything, that's when water energy starts evaporating quickly. In that case, maybe they need to sit in water twice a day. When I went through a really rough period filled with despair, I sat in water every day for all 5 energy layers because of the stress. That's how I survived. And eventually, stress passed. Stress means a particularly difficult period in life. It just washes away your water energy. But in your case, it's not a difficult period, it's emotional despair. That emotion alone drains your water energy. When it comes to your relationship, you're stuck in despair. You think, "I can't do this anymore, I can't take this person, they are always making noise." They walk by and make noise. That's despair. Now, take fear. For example, during wartime when rockets are flying overhead, so many people live in fear. That fear depletes air energy. And when air energy is low, it creates emotional coldness between people. They stop feeling one another, they feel drained, helpless, can't get out of bed, their focus disappears, work becomes exhausting. That's air energy deficiency. It starts manifesting physically. Body aches, spasms, high blood pressure, tension, constipation. All of that is lack of air energy. The energy of the sun, on the other hand, fades when a person becomes disillusioned, whether with someone else or with life itself. And as soon as that energy dims, their mood drops. They fall into pessimism and can't shake it off. We have spiritual, mental, and physical energy. 3 bodies, each with their own energy. In the spiritual body, the energies of happiness, knowledge, and eternity are at play. In the subtle energy body, the energy of happiness turns into the energy of the sun. The energy of knowledge becomes water energy, and the energy of eternity becomes air energy. And in the physical body, there are the same 3 energies. Happiness is food energy or sun energy. It's the same energy, just expressed differently in each body. In the physical body, happiness or the energy of the sun is food. Air energy becomes the breath we take. Water energy becomes the water we drink. That's the physical body. Got it? So when someone lacks the energy of the sun in their subtle energy body, they live in disappointment and they start to confuse these energies. And that's when the late night snacking kicks in. Because food still contains a little bit of subtle happiness energy, just a bit. But mostly it's just physical. And so the person starts binging at night because they can't even fall asleep without some happiness. You can't sleep when you're completely empty of happiness. But you should be getting that happiness from the sun, from joyful people around you. Love is also the energy of the sun. Happiness, love, it all means the energy of the sun. And so often people can sense this more deeply than we realize. How do people recharge each other with sun energy? Sun energy makes a lady radiant and a man full of life. What does it mean when we say a lady is beautiful? It means she's radiating sun energy in her interactions. She genuinely likes people, adores them. If a girl or a woman adores people and sees the good in them, that means she's beautiful, because she's exchanging sun energy with others. If she doesn't like people, then she's not beautiful. She might have a pretty face, wear makeup, but it won't matter. She'll be like a doll. No energy, no beauty. To be truly beautiful, she has to love people. That's how the energy of the sun or love flows through a woman, through relationships. If she doesn't love anyone, doesn't build relationships with anyone, then there won't be any beauty. A woman also needs to have a connection with nature. She should love flowers, grass, birds. Birds are flying above me. The grass is green. Dr. Torsunov has arrived. In other words, she should be immersed in that energy. If she isn't, then there won't be any beauty. Beautiful ladies are those who exchange energy. They love everyone. They're happy to see people. Make sense? That's how the energy of the sun works. Even if the sun isn't shining outside, you still have to get that energy from somewhere. Beautiful women radiate the energy of the sun. For a man, sun energy manifests as happiness. For a woman, it expresses as love. It's the same energy, it just works differently. For men, it comes through joy, through happiness. Happiness means a person enjoys life. So male beauty is about joy. A man who is full of life and joy is attractive. For women, it comes through love. Love means she loves people, adores them, thinks everyone's amazing. So when I'm feeling joyful, it means the energy of the sun has entered me. I've become cheerful. Okay, so you've received the energy of the sun. Now what? You have to share that joy. Joy in Russian is radost. Ra means sun. Dost means to give. You have to give back sun energy, or else you'll overheat. When you overheat, it means you didn't share that energy. You must give it back. Like in that song, I'll give them golden joy. That means they are dancing, laughing, and singing. That's the exchange of joy. Women adore people like that. And men rejoice and give back with golden joy. This is a solar exchange between people. Yesterday, while running in Krasnodar, we were trying to offer people this solar exchange. We ran down the street shouting, "Good morning." But some people weren't awake yet. They couldn't respond. They just don't understand the culture of human connection. Still, we should greet everyone joyfully, even if they don't greet us back. Say good morning, be cheerful and open. Not all grumpy like, put your slippers on. We came to the spa to relax. You know the most important rule in a steam room? You have to relax and move around with happiness, but instead they screamed at us, put on your slippers. There was no exchange of sun energy or energy of knowledge between people. The energy of knowledge is calmness and kindness. There's love, and there's also kindness, gentle interactions. Like when we run and shout, good morning, but people don't feel anything kind in it. We have to show kindness. Sometimes people can't even say good morning. The words just don't come out. That usually means something's wrong in their life. You know the saying, a dog only bites when it's had a dog's life. Then we run past them again and say good morning once more. The second time we pass by, they actually manage to say good morning. Perfect, that means things are starting to shift for them. We need to learn to accept people as they are and to build an active, positive outlook on life. That's what we'll be doing tomorrow morning. We'll go for a run and shout good morning to each other, wishing one another happiness, and you need to learn how to respond the right way. One summer in Samara, we were jogging along the riverside promenade. This wasn't on this trip, but the one before. There was a man standing there on the path. As we jog past him, we shout, good morning, and he replies, good morning. We ran a kilometer down and then back again, and when we passed him the second time and said good morning, he goes, I already said it to you. Then he stepped aside, didn't like that people were being so friendly, and didn't want to be bothered. But before long, he came back and stood right in our path again. We shout, good morning, again, and this time he says, good morning. He joined in. I thought, that's great, now we're getting somewhere. See that exchange? It starts in your mind. Yes, we run, and it looks like just a jog, but the real goal is to change your mindset, your lifestyle, your view of others. People have gotten so withdrawn. So yeah, that's the idea, and you are welcome to join us tomorrow morning. Oh, and by the way, bring some light snacks. Bring some dates, some small plums, etc. I'll be handing out food to all of you.
From your hands?
Yes, I'll be feeding you so you receive that energy in a personal way. Okay, that's the plan. I'll bless you all so everything in your life works out.
What if someone only wants to take it?
Then take from me. If you come to receive energy, take it. There are two states, like a lake and like a river. When you live for God, not just for yourself, and stay connected to Him, that's when energy flows to you. And when you share that energy with others, it keeps coming from God. It's actually a great joy when others take energy from you and you give it freely. That's real happiness. Receiving energy from others is also a joy. That feeling of gratitude in someone's eyes, that's happiness too. That's an exchange. You express your gratitude, I give. That's how the exchange works, and it's beautiful. You can give too, and that's how it all flows. To learn more on the subject of health and healing of the body, please make sure to read my health guide, available for download on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram page. Thank you very much, and see you soon.